Hi friends, Tina here from the Serene Stamper channel. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up and I live in beautiful Nova Scotia, Canada, even though we are supposed to be getting about 20 centimeters of snow today. If you are just joining me for the first time, welcome. I'm super happy you found me. And to all my subscriber friends, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you just some cards that I've been working on this morning, and they feature our Stampin' Pastel chalks, which many of you know I love working with our chalks, and just a really fun technique that I have shown before. So this may be something new to you, or it just may be a refresher of a fun technique. So you may want to pull out your chalks, grab some stamp sets, and have some fun. So without further ado, let's start stamping. Let me start first by showing you the stamp sets I've been creating with today. So we have the Perfectly Detailed, which I just think this is such a beautiful image. And I'm pulling in the Butterfly Brilliance. Now I know many of you have this stamp set and the coordinating dies. It's been around for at least a couple of years now. It is so much fun to work with. So if you have not given this stamp set some love in a while, pull them out, and the links will be listed down below in my description if you do want to order anything I'm sharing with you today. And then this Begin with the Dream stamp set is a host only stamp set, so you can only get this with host rewards that you earn with a qualifying order. So let's just jump right into the technique. I have cut a piece of our shimmery white cardstock down to measure 8.5 by 5.5. I will trim this out after I have stamped my image. You do not need to use shimmery white cardstock. I didn't for my earlier cards that I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. I just used our basic white cardstock, and it works just fine and it's beautiful. But for the video, I just thought, what the heck, I'm going to pull in some shimmery white because I betcha that will be really, really pretty with this technique. Okay, so I have, as you've seen, I put on my butterfly stamps, and I'm just putting a stamp set underneath to make it easier for inking. You want to start by inking your image very lightly. So I just pulled in Sahara Sand. You can use a light gray, you can use Crumb Cake, but you want it to be really, really light. Because I have recently re-inked all of my ink pads, that's a really wet ink pad. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to just set it down and just stamp that randomly just to get some of that ink off. So even that is even more dark than what I want to start with. But now this should be ready. So I'm just going to stamp this down. You basically just want a light image. You don't want to take your stamp off. You don't want to take your paper out until after you have used the chalks. Now you can use the chalks with our Stampin' Daubers. Let me show you here. Here's one of our Stampin' Daubers, and you can just pick up some color and just put it on. I know that's looking light, so let me go into the red so you can see some red. Okay, so you can do that, but I am actually going to pick up the chalk, and I'm just going to, you see, I'm just lightly putting it on. I'm not being super particular. I'm not worrying about being completely in the lines. I just want to get that color on there. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker yellow. Maybe it's crushed curry, I think. Again, just random, but I want it to be even on both sides of the wings. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. This is really a fast technique. And as I think I mentioned in my introduction, I know sometimes we just get some techniques that we absolutely love and they become our standbys, right? At least for me they do. And this is definitely one of those techniques that is just so fun, and you can get so many cards so quickly. Especially with the stamp set like this where you have so many different images on the one stamp. Just adding some blue. And this is going to look kind of wonky. You're going to say, Tina, what did you put in your coffee this morning? Because you're doing some crazy stuff here. Well, Just you wait, my beautiful friend. Now, those of you who have been with Stampin' Up! For a while, do you remember our Lovely as a Tree stamp set? This was originally demonstrated by another demonstrator. I can't remember if it was at a workshop wow or what it was, but they used the Lovely as a Tree stamp set with this technique, and oh my goodness, it really was a wow. So trees work great with this technique. Flowers work great with this technique. Lots and lots. And I am just pulling in all kinds of colors. And it's always kind of a surprise when you stamp and see how it comes out. And I'm going to blend this in too, so these are all going to get kind of blended in a little bit. You don't have to add the same colors to every butterfly. I just want a variety of the colors. With the snow we've got coming today, I need colors. I took my dogs outside, as I do all the time, and I was desperately looking to see if my tulips were coming up, because my mother-in-law, who only lives 15 minutes away, her tulips are coming up. But we are closer towards Cape Breton, so just that little bit of elevation is making a difference, I guess. No tulips. So I will pull color in. Now, you can use your finger. I used to love finger painting when I was a little girl, so I have no problem doing this. You could use the sponge dauber. You can use a sponge. Okay, so if you think you want to add some more color, make it a little bit darker, you can go back in, press a little harder, add a little bit more color. Okay. I'm just blending that in a bit. Now I'm going to blow off the excess chalk. Okay, so let me show you what I have. Not exactly what you would call a work of art, right? But just wait for the magic. And again, those of you who know this technique, you know magic is about to happen. I am now inking my stamp with my early espresso ink pad. And I'm going to go right back on top, ready to be wowed. Check this out. Look at that. Right? Absolutely beautiful. I want my butterflies to be even darker with that brown, so I'm going to re-ink and stamp it again. Absolutely beautiful. So you could leave it like that, as I did for the cards that I worked on earlier today, or I'm going to show you how you can heat emboss this, because this is kind of what I'm going to show you now. I had shown in a previous video with a sentiment, and I had a lot of people comment that they never thought to do this. So I'm just going to show you a fun little thing you can do. Let me get some Stampin' Mist here. Clean my stamp. You can use our Simply Chamois, which I have a few of those, but I also have a rag just here handy on my desk. So that's what I'm doing to get this ink off. Really make sure your stamp is clean, because if you're doing this along with me, we are going to be pulling in our Versamark ink pad next. So of course you don't want to contaminate that with brown ink. All right. There we go. I'm going to pull in my embossing buddy now. Tap all over. Bring in my Versamark ink pad. All right. I'm going to stamp that down. And I really want to make sure I've got good coverage of that Versamark ink on my butterfly. So I'm going to do it a second time. It was probably fine the first time, but do it a second time just the same. All right, so now I'm going to take this off my Stamparatus and bring in some clear embossing powder. I'm going to sprinkle this on. And again, you don't have to do this step, but I just thought I would actually step this up a little bit so you can see the difference. All right, I'm just tapping off the excess, and I'm going to heat this up with my heat tool. So I think I have all that powder melted. Can you see the shiny, beautiful outline image, the beautiful colors behind that early espresso? Absolutely stunning. Such a fun, fast way to color your images. So I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine next and cut these out. Okay, so I have the fabulous coordinating die. So just lining that up best I can with the camera right beneath my nose. There we are. Okay, so I need a plate. Let's grab a plate and run that through. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Here are my other butterflies. And I think I'm missing one. Oh, here we go. Little guy. So now I'm going to show you a quick card that I've been making using these butterflies. So my card base is Early Espresso. And I'm bringing in a piece of Designer Series paper. This is from our Rain or Shine Designer Series paper pack. Did I get that right? Yep, Rain or Shine specialty paper. We have a super adorable stamp set that coordinates with this. In fact, let me just show it to you. This coordinates with our Playing in the Rain stamp set. Isn't that adorable? So I am going to cut a panel that measures 4 by 5 1/4 to put this onto my card. So I'm going to cut this down at 4. Now, I want this little bit with the flowers and the clouds. So I'm going to put it this way, and I'm going to cut off 3 inches from the top, and then I'm going to slide this up to 5 1/4. So then I've got some clouds and the flowers. This measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to put this onto my card base. Piece of paper on the inside to write my sentiment. So before the video, because I have been making cards, I've been doing some embossing. So I already have some sentiments embossed in white on Early Espresso. So you can see here from the Begin a Dream stamp set, this is what I used. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. So I'm just gonna cut this out with my scissors. Of course, you can use dies or punches. There's my sentiment, looking a little bit crooked. Let's just fix that. Okay, that's good. So now I have to decide which butterfly I want to use and how many butterflies, because definitely I'm not using them all on one card, and I will have them to use for other cards. I'm thinking I'm going to put that right there. So let me do that first. I'm going to glue it down. I'm not even going to use dimensionals for that. And that was a lot of glue. Okay. Now, for the butterfly. I might use 2 butterflies. I think I'll use this one for 1. So I am just folding up the wings and bending them back just a little bit on the ends. So I'll put a little bit of glue right here. So of course this will lie flat in the envelope, but when the person receives it, they can pop up the wings. So something fun I discovered on the cards I made earlier today is I pulled in our Pebbles embellishments, and let's just go here. When I was looking through my embellishments to use on my cards, I came across these, and I thought, you know what? These long ones could be used as butterfly bodies, right? Or bug bodies, but I want it to be black. So I'm bringing in my dark black Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm just going to color one of those in black. And this is going to add some fun dimension to my butterfly. Because there is embossing powder on this, I'm just going to grab a little bit of glue on a little tip of scrap paper and just put it down, because I really want to make sure my embellishment sticks. Where's my take your pick tool? Here it is. Because when you're sticking something on top of an image that has been embossed, it doesn't always stick as well. So that's going to need a couple minutes to dry. And then the other thing I came across when I was going through my embellishments were my black dots. I forget the actual name for these, but I will have the link in the description below. And guess what? I'm going to use one of these for the head of my butterfly. So I'm going to put that right here, like that. And there's not as much heat embossing behind where I just put that gem, so I don't think I need glue, but I do want to add a little bit more of my marker. So easy, so quick, so pretty. All right, let me show you the original one that I made today. Same thing, but I did use 2 butterflies, and I used You Make a Difference from that same stamp set and put it up on top. The butterflies were done exactly the same way as I demonstrated for you today, but I did not emboss them. So you can see the shininess on the wings of this one here, and these are equally pretty without the embossing, but I wanted to show you the 2 different ways you could do that.